I'm back with that bonus card that I had mentioned earlier. And so the card that I have for this extra one is it's a fun little card, and we're going to use our basic white that is 4 1/4 by 11 and scored at 5.5. And then we have a piece of the DSP, and I chose a pretty neutral piece of DSP, and this piece is 4 1/4 by 5.5, so it will be the size of the front of the card panel. And then I also have a piece of let me see, I think it's Granny Apple Green, yes. So a piece of Granny Apple Green that is also 4 1/4 by 5.5 inches. And then we have a piece of the DSP that has our hot air balloons on there, and then a scrap piece of white. And then I have a few dies. I have a stitched rectangle die, and then this is the basic border dies. And then I also have this other cloud basic border dies. And so I've done some of the die cutting, but I'm going to show how it is that I came about to get my pieces for this card. And so let's get started with that. So I have some Post-it tape here, and what I like about this is that it is tacky and but not overly tacky. Once you run it through your Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, a lot of times it does leave a residue, but then if you have a glue eraser like this one, then you can just, if it leaves any residue behind, you can erase it. But this card I think is a fun card, and I hope you like it. So what I want to do is take and line up this piece of the cardstock base, and then this piece of DSP. So I'm just going to like set it on the counter and make certain that the bottom and the sides are lined up, and then just barely up here at the top I am going to tape that down so that I know that it stays in place. Then I'm going to need a couple more pieces here. So then the stitched rectangle, and I believe this one is not the largest but the next one down, and I want to line it up on the front of my card. And then once I get it where I think I want it, I'm going to put more of the Post-it note tape on here. And then I would take this over to my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, and I would kind of sit it on a bit of an angle and run it through, and then bring it back and run it through, because you're going through thick basic white and you're going through DSP. So I hope that makes sense. I'll grab my machine so that I can kind of demonstrate without actually doing it. Okay, so, oops, sorry, didn't mean to shake the camera. Grab that. So what I do is I put down my number 1 plate, my number 2 shim, and then my clear plate, and then I would put this down at a bit of an angle like this. So if you put it straight, it'll just warp your die cut. So I'm going to pull this back, and I want it to kind of be at an angle. Then I take my next plate, and I would put it on top. So I can go ahead and run this, I think. So I'd start running this through. and it gets very tight. And so I'm just going to go through, try not to shake the camera too much. I don't want to bend my cardstock too much. And then go back. Okay, I'm going to slide it just a little bit so that I can, it's taped down, so I'm good. And then I'm going to come back, that way I won't tear up my cardstock. And I'm going to do this a couple times because it's going through thick basic white and through the DSP, and it's stitched. Okay, sorry for the shaking of the camera. Alright, so then I can pull this off. Move this over here. Alright, so then what I would do is make certain I won't pull this tape piece off here, and then I want to release the tape along here and try not to tear the DSP. There. And we need to completely remove it here. Just be gentle because we put it through with a lot of pressure and we don't want to tear anything. Okay, so right here there's residue. Like, see, it picks up. Take my die cut, and I want to take my eraser and just erase away any of the residue that's there. Whoops, did not want to do that. It'll be fine. Like I said, we want to leave this piece right here and then just feel, and you want to hold it so that you don't disturb this. See how that's peeling all that off, and that is from that residue from that post-it tape. Okay, so nothing's sticky now. Alright, so now then the piece that is behind here, this is what I would use for my clouds. And so I would want to turn my clouds so that, like, to do it on an angle like this and run it through the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. And so this piece here would end up being this piece. So when I ran it through, that's what I would get. So then I would have the scallops on the wrong side here. So I would want to flip it over to the back and go the other way. So go like this, and you'd want to tape it so, because this part would be gone, and then you'd run it through the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine on the back side of this stitched rectangle, and then that is where you would get this next piece. So we've got those two pieces there. And then with the piece of Granny Apple green, what I did with this was I took this piece, which is just the arch, and I kind of just made hills with it. So I would put it about like this, lower it on the left, higher on the right, and then I'd run it through the machine, and then that's when I would get this piece, because then it would cut away from here. So that's my first piece. Then I would turn it on this way, and I would cut it the opposite direction, and that's how I would get the second piece. And then you're left with just a funny shaped piece that you could use to cut other things out of it, use it as a piece of scrap. So that's how I would do that one. And then the other thing that we need is, let me see if I can find it here, because a piece of window sheet, and this is a piece of like a parchment paper so that it's easier to see it. This is a window sheet that we're going to use for this card. So I'm putting it like that so I can find it on this piece of white. But that is just trash, but we'll use it for something here in a moment. Okay, so then this is a piece of the DSP, and I just cut away the let's see if I can find the piece that I cut it from. There we go. So I just cut this away from one of our pieces of our DSP, that's the hot air balloons. And then I want to glue this onto a piece of basic white, and this can either be thick or it can be regular, and then I'm going to show you why we're doing that. So we'll look. Pick this up, kind of move it around a little bit because I want to glue this down like that. Okay, so while this is drying a little bit, we'll set that off there. So here I'm going to take, oh, this has some that's tacky on it too. That one doesn't. Okay. So I'm going to take and slide this just kind of back behind here. And then I'm going to take this one and slide it just back behind there. So I know I need to stay this here a little bit of a band away. I'm going to take first, and I think I'm going to take my embossing buddy and just kind of pat that on there. Okay, I'll move that out of the way. I'm going to slide this under there and just kind of line up my edge, my right edge and my bottom edge. Kind of like that. And then bring in my Versamark. And then the word Big Wish. I'm going to ink that up. And then stamp down and up. This little piece of paper, I'll move that out of the way. Put this right here. Bring in our embossing powder, and it's the white. Alright, so we've got that. I didn't want to make a mess, so the few granules I'll just throw in the trash, but normally I would save it. Okay, so then I want to bring in my heat gun. Once it starts heating up, it'll turn white, real shiny. This kind of has a gray cast to it right now, but you can see it going now, turning shiny. And from the back, it makes it raise it up a little bit. So I'll close this ink, move this stamp. So I want that to make certain it cools. Now we're going to bring this in. This is, it's fairly good. It's still a little damp, but it'll be fine. Okay, so I'm going to fussy cut this out. So I'm cutting not only just the DSP, but I'm cutting the white cardstock. I'm doing this so that it'll be reinforced, and so that the striped paper that's on the back won't show. So I'm just going around, trying to be as smooth as I can. Trying to move my paper, not my scissors. I mean, I move them a little bit. Try not to move them too awfully much. Try to move the paper as much as I can so they have more control. Embossing powder on my nails. And then like that. So now it's a white background. You can barely see the stripes through it, but it's a white background, and so that makes it sturdier. Because this is what was on the back side of it, was the stripes. Alright, so now then, we'll set this over here to the side, and we will start working with this. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to flip this up without undoing that. Okay, and I'm going to bring in my liquid glue, and I want to add a small ribbon. All the way around the frame. So like that. Then I'm going to take this clear window sheet, and I'm going to set this here. And it's the same, this window sheet is the same size, got a fingerprint on there, as the card front. Okay. I do have lotion on my hands, and so it's alright. So then now I'm going to take and add just a little bit more glue here. we're going to take this green piece and we're going to lay that down in this corner. Like that. Then we're going to take the Big Wish and we're going to add a little more glue. Whoops, that was a lot of glue. And we just want it where that band would be. Okay. And then I want to line this up with the white. This is hanging over a little bit, but we'll fix that here in a moment. Okay. So like that. All right. Then those clouds. So this one is going to go towards the back. And so this is a decorative edge that's here. So this is going to go this way. But before I put it on there, I need my paper cutter. And I want to cut these down because they came from the inside piece and we had to go the lengthwise. I want to put them in at 4, just a smidge under 4 1/4. That one. Flip this one the other way. Just a smidge under 4 1/4. So like just barely on the right side of that line. Okay. So this one, I'm going to add glue just on the edge. Okay. So I want to take and bring this up here to the top. Now I don't want to go clear up to the crease because I don't want it to, so I've got just a little gap, like maybe a 1/16. Now this one's going to go whoops, the wrong one down. That's okay, we can fix that. So I need to add a little bit more glue. This one's gonna go see, this way. I'll get it right. So I want the clouds on the left, the bigger ones on the bottom. That's what it is. So I keep making certain I've got a gap up there. Now I'm going to add more glue on the edge again. And just a small bead of glue. Then I'm going to add this along that edge. Okay, whoops. And then I'm going to bring in and I'm going to put a small bead all the way around the whole thing. Okay, and then bring this down slowly. And we want to just line that up with the edges. We're lining it up with that base that's below. this up, and I'm going to trim this bit of green away. Okay. And then I'm going to fold it on that score line. Grab my, take your pick tool, it's got the little spatula. I'm just going to slide it up underneath this edge. And be real gentle when removing. And that piece held everything in place so it would stay lined up. Okay, now I'm going to fold this and find my bone folder. I'm going to crease. There's glue on my counter. Alright, so see if I can't get that off. I sure hope I can. And then I'm also okay, so now then I want to lay this, make certain it's going the right direction. Yeah, so that I'm going to take it, so I'm lining it up, make certain it's going the right direction. So I'm going to take this, flip it, and then flip this with it. Okay, and then just on this purple piece, I want to put it in the corners. Like that. And then with that still laying where it's at, I'm going to bring the back side to it. Like that. So this is what it looks like on this side. And I'm going to flip this up and then press. Okay, so far we can see the greenery and we can see the clouds. Okay, now then we're going to take this piece, and I have that little smudge there. That's alright, because we're going to add this right here. But we don't want to put the glue here. We only want to put it behind the basket and up here where the top of this is. So here, here, and just barely on each one of these tips on the front. Okay. We're going to take and we're going to slide this up under here and that down there and just hold it. Take it, any excess glue, just erase it. Okay, and when you open it up, it's like that. So there is our card. And then if you wanted to, oh, I see some more excess glue. Go very light-handed with the glue. I think I went a little heavy-handed on a couple of the things. But you could, on the back then, you could write your sentiment to whoever you're giving this to. You could open it up. You could stamp your greeting and sign it on the back. But then whenever it is standing, it looks like your balloons are floating in the sky. So that is my bonus card that I wanted to share. That was the other idea that I had. And so I hope you like that one. And I hope you'll give that a try. And if you purchased my class, then you will get the supplies to make this card as well. And I have the form. I can link the form below the video. And if you wish to, we've already played the bingo, but if you wish to purchase just the card portion of the class, that will be an option. And I could, ship you the supplies for the card kits, and then but that would be at an additional fee. But yeah, if you want to give this a try, like I said, check out the link below the video, and I'd be happy to mail out your card kit to you. So happy stamping, and thank you for joining me for this evening for this hot air balloon card class. Happy stamping. Bye-bye.